Alright guys, Kremp again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. The top ever CDL KDs were talked about a couple of days ago, and the OpTic guys are giving their perspective on Cellium topping the list, but not especially in the games that he actually won. Cellium's most successful year as a player, as with the FaZe guys, was back in Cold War when they dominated the year, won 4 out of the 6 events, including the World Championship. That year, in many ways, was Cellium's worst year statistically. Kenny and Dashy believe there can't be a coincidence in that. Very much interested to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty to get into today. Firstly, from Clayster, there's lots to talk about hackers. As always, the hacking discussion is not going away. Clay did make it. Congratulations onto the top 250. One of the only players actually to make it so far, just because most of the guys on here are cheating. So it's like, what can you do? But yeah, players are trying. We saw Clayster's teammate in some regards, Khalid. He made it the other day, a player on the roster. And this is Clay, the coach of the team, and actually says he's a player. So I don't know, maybe there's something in that. What do you think, guys? As Clay already subbed himself into the starting lineup and he's making the comeback, it would be classic, you know, I wouldn't say Clayster scheming, because he doesn't do that much scheming compared to other players in his career. Clayster just knows how to control the narrative. That's what Clayster's very good at, especially over the last few years of his career publicly. But yeah, he is coaching the team, but obviously there has been some speculation. What if the team struggles a bit? Is Clay going to say, look, coach, put me in? And he's like, I'm the coach, I'm going in. So yeah, we'll see, especially if the team doesn't do so well at the start of the season. People have been calling as well to just kill ranked or just remove it or something. The issue is, like, well, I think there's one thing that they should do, and Methods comes up with that here in a second. But as Parasite says, hey guys, a selection, just take it down till you fix the anti-cheat, wipe it, and let's start over. You know, would be a smart thing to do. You might actually build some trust that you care about the scene, because it's so broken, certainly at the top level in terms of the cheaters everywhere. There's not really much that can be done about it. And as Havoc says, Trek should just remove ranked play till they have a solution for this. It's unplayable right now. But, you know, what is the solution? Because if they remove it, I'm not sure that solution's just coming out of thin air, right? And I'm sure they're working on it, kind of, but I'm not really so convinced. And we get this from Ghosty. The hackers nearly won the night, but, and well, as Simp says, don't lie, they had you bad tonight. And he says, yeah, there were so many games that I was up either 150 or I was up 2-0 in control, and they just started relentlessly turning on the aim locks. There's nothing, it can't be anything more frustrating than that. When you're playing a guy that you're pretty sure is cheating, but you're beating him big time, and then he decides to turn on the heavy hitter cheats and, you know, just spin bot, aim lock, wallbang you, whatever, and it's just GG, game over. So, yeah, Ghosty's obviously frustrated about it. Everyone's frustrated about it. And this was the tweet from Havoc, right? So, Havoc tweeted this and then deleted it, and Methods replied and said at the very least they need to allow crossplay to be disabled so I can play on PS5. And I think that's one of the main issues right now. I think what they're looking to do, and this was the thing last year, that people would just say, okay, too many cheaters on PC, we'll just go to console. And last year you could go console only, but I guess what they want to do, Treyarch or just Microsoft or whatever, is prevent people doing that, because probably everyone that turns on an Xbox is going to turn off crossplay, and I don't think that's what, you know, Microsoft wants. But this is the only way, I would say, to make the game playable, because you also want content creators to be able to play it. Like, it's good promotion for the game. If people can't play, don't play ranked because it's so broken, and the players themselves, the pro players, the streamers, aren't even playing it, they're even asking for it to be removed as a game mode until they fix the problems, that's not good for anyone. That's not good for the marketing to try and get people to buy or play more of the game, especially when the top streamers, all they do is moan about it. So, you know, it's a big solution to say, okay, if we allow crossplay to be a feature to be disabled, then these guys can at least go and play it on consoles, and, you know, that's probably going to be for the betterment as well. Now, yeah, you're going to run into some cheaters, you're going to run into some, I don't know, Zim users who are keyboarding, or people who use Chronuses or whatever, and it's still going to be an issue, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as bad as what it currently is on PC. And to be fair to Microsoft, they might think, well, if we did allow crossplay to be disabled, we might sell a load of Xboxes, right, or whatever. People going on to play on that service rather than play on PC. So it could be an infinite money glitch, right? You allow the cheaters in the game, therefore they cheat because that's what they do. You then force a lot of your player base to buy your console, then you ban the cheaters, then you run it back. I don't know, but I don't want to give them any ideas, but that would be better than nothing right now. Shout out HyDra man as well, because he came top 6 with his team in yesterday's Challengers Cup, which is respectable. It's enough to keep around the ballpark. It's not like he's got the best team on paper with Fire, Flames and Ghosty. Obviously, Hook's team won it, as we talked about earlier today, but I do think it's interesting for ReeaL just to kind of watch his progress here, because top 6 in challenges is a respectable placement at the end of the day. It keeps you in the conversation. If you're coming top 12s or worse in challenges, then there's a problem. Now, you're not expected, even as a top tier pro, even as a world champion, to win every tournament, to win every challengers tournament, to dominate. You're expected, though, to make it deep and to play well individually, and if you can do that, then you're going to keep your name in the conversation to come back in. And also you're going to keep your name if, as aBeZy says, 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4 chal, I'll take whatever, $100 plus. So yeah, aBeZy's back in business. It's nice to see tweets like this, because this feels like Call of Duty is back, when you've got aBeZy tweeting for chals at every single hour of the day. Now, before we talk about the OpTic stuff, I did just want to quickly mention this, an update on what we talked about this morning. So we know that the league is problematic in many regards, but currently they do have CDL meetings that obviously teams are meant to attend. They discuss updates and what they're going to do with the game, and updates on the season schedule and changes they're making, and of course looking for feedback and stuff like this. I know that Hex talked about this a few years ago. They've always run these meetings, and Hex used to go, and then he felt like his whatever he said wasn't getting listened to or respected, so he stopped bothering. I think OpTic, I'm sure, still have some representative. Maybe Hex goes to these meetings again, I don't know. I imagine they're all online. But the funny thing is that they're talking about whether they should create a committee of CDL players and representatives and advisory individuals in order to create the GAs in a better format. Of course, BenJ talked about that, as we saw earlier on today. Even if that happens, let's say hypothetically that happens, and they actually managed to form BenJ's GA committee and it started to work, would the teams even turn up to the meeting? Like, that is genuinely, unfortunately, a question that we have to ask. It's like, well, even if they did this, would the pros even care enough to turn up when it mattered? Because apparently the CDL mandatory meetings, only half of the league even goes. So half of the teams have no representative, they don't even turn up. Like, what are we actually doing here? Like, are we serious right now? This is just the most pathetic esport in the world. It's the best in some way. Sometimes it's the best, but most of the time, unfortunately, COD is just a laughing stock and continues to be so. And the players don't help themselves, and even the teams just don't help themselves in general, because look, if you've got a player you're mandating to show up to the meeting and he doesn't show up, that's partly on you for choosing that player rather than some alternative. So into your thoughts in a comment. The other thing that we've got to talk about, obviously Shotzzy's been grinding over the last couple of days. I saw this as kind of funny as well. Black Coffee Reaper now, he's been getting on the black coffee, and maybe Shotzzy's getting used to the taste, as it were. And it turns out he was 1v1ing JP here, actually. There's some sort of content it seems they're doing. Yeah, I'm doing a giveaway if he gets 1 kill on me. Maybe that's the plan, maybe it's not. But Shotzzy and others were talking about the top KDs ever in Call of Duty, certainly in the CDL. Dashy's made a couple of appearances, but of course the demon is Cellium, right? He has the highest KD of anyone in the CDL by quite some margin, actually. And in terms of every single year on year, Cellium's been up there as well. He was up there this year as well, despite winning one event in Miami and nothing else. But as Dashy and Kenny are pointing out, the best year that Cellium ever had was the year where statistically he was actually at his weakest.
They could have run him.
I bet you any money, the highest KD, I bet you, I'm putting $50, it's
so
fucking MC.
Since they could have run him, like they.
What is it? You want to side on? You want to side on this? Number 1 KD MC.
For what?
the highest KD season.
This year?
In the CDL era, like in general, all of CDL.
What? I want so.
I bet you it's MC. 100%. Yep, I knew it did.
He's got top 3. He got all 3.
Damn.
He got all 3.
Jesus. Bro, he got it in the game. He didn't win in.
I'm 2 of these. I'm
That's not crazy.
Highest season.
Wait, he got a what?
In Vanguard? They didn't win in Vanguard, right?
Wait, his worst year was Cold War, and he won a championship.
That's what I'm saying.
He might actually be like, he might have to go back to like whatever he's doing. I don't even know.
Wait, high city CDL or so this is like after season?
Highest Season KD.
Damn, I'm in this bitch. I don't give a fuck. I'm twice. 2-time.
I hear you.
Damn, Cell is actually like, he might be, I don't know. He might be untradeable, I guess.
Him and Cellium and Codor are the only teammates the same season to be on the list. What?
MC's always #1 KD, dude. #1 KD, bro. No one cares about your KD, bro. Yeah, when he played this video, that's what he said. Play some pressure, you fucking nerd. No one cares about your KD, bro.
Oh, dude.
That's why when I play him.
Well, how do you say it in his voice? Like,
what?
'cause that's your voice. That's what he does to you. So how do you do it?
I got #1 KD, man.
Yeah.
Like a whole shit, man. You never see MVP. You never see MVP, man. Dude, it's so funny. I was like trying to like get a date as him, as his character. I'm like, she's like, oh, I'm seeing someone. I'm like, is he a world champ? Is he a WC MVP, man? Like, I was saying, this shit is actually comedy. Is his afro as big as mine?
So there are probably a couple of reasons why Cellium's numbers in Cold War, where they won everything, weren't as good, because they dominated that year in many levels. This most recent season, to be fair, in W3, they weren't far off in some regard. They just didn't win as many tournaments. Now, in Cold War, there wasn't quite the competition. Obviously, Toronto were good. OpTic weren't that good that year. Subliners weren't really that good that year. Like, there wasn't too many competitive teams. But still, FaZe were incredible that season. Cellium was part of that. Obviously, the reason in some regard why Cell's KD wasn't as high is probably because the SMGs were just very good in that game, as they have been every game, to be fair. But obviously, we saw Simp and aBeZy that game were unbelievable, and therefore there wasn't maybe all that much for Cellium to actually do on the map. But to be fair, they had Arcetes, who had a good season, but he didn't have a great season by KD-wise. So you could argue that Cellium that year was playing differently. And I think you could argue that still to this day. Look, we saw it at the World Cup, right? Cellium played a faster version of Cellium. Now, it was still Cell who was playing at the World Cup, and he still had the same KD that Cell usually has. He just had 20% more engagement than he usually has, and that was a big deal. Now, to be fair, if Cellium played as he did at the World Cup all the time, with the faster playstyle and more engagements, you're not expecting him to get the same KD because he's not so set up on a heady. So, you know, the performance that Cell had at the World Cup, playing faster, winning the MVP, winning the tournament relatively comfortably in the ends, that KD that he maintains there with that playstyle speed, you probably wouldn't expect him to be able to match that. You know, in Cold War, even in MW19, when sometimes he'd run an SMG, an MP5 when it was very good, but in Cold War he did play faster than he did today. At least it feels that way. Since Vanguard, there's been a bit of a different Cellium, and it just felt a little bit different back in Cold War. The KD was lower, but was he a more effective player? That's the argument, right? Because Cellium is 10th on this list of all-time highest season KDs with a 1.14. Very good KD, you know, very commendable. Same as Dashy had that year, same as Simp had that year, pretty much. Same as Pred had last year, Modern Warfare 2. So that's a good number. You know, Dashy's numbers tend to hover around there between a 1.1 and a 1.15, something like that. We know how good Dashy is. So yeah, that's where Cellium's numbers were in Cold War, and it's not like that was a bad season. Like, that was an excellent season. That's a top 10 KD ever in the CDL era. But for Cellium, that's nothing, right? I mean, this guy's dropped to 1.21, 1.23, 1.24 in Vanguard, and if you add up the championships won over those 3 seasons, it ain't that many. I mean, Dashy won a single championship in Vanguard. Cellium didn't win any, right? They were second 4 times. Modern Warfare 2, yeah, they did win a championship that year in Boston, and they won a championship this year in Miami. But, you know, it's only 2 championship wins across the 3 best statistical seasons ever, right? So that's the argument. And, like, obviously it's not the only time we're talking about this, but I just thought it was interesting the OpTic guys were getting involved in saying, look at Cellium's numbers. Has he not got something to think about here? The reality that when he's had the best numbers, he's not won much. I mean, he won 2 events over those 3 seasons. He won 4 events just that season alone. So, you know, there's got to be something in that. Obviously, there are caveats in play, the level of competition, the teammate effectiveness, the way the game played, and the teammates, and these other things as well. But it's probably something that is at least worth considering. So very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Is that a 4th? Who's better have?
I've made $2 million in real estate flipping land in the past 3 years. I can tell you how.
Who is what? Is that a guy in our game? No, it's a guy in our Discord, man.
You're in Discord.
What? Oh, shit, man.
Yeah, dude. I've been making money.
What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going
Who the fuck was that?
I don't know,
Yo,
bro.
man, you got the front door open for these guys?
I guess.
What's going on? Yo, my boy came in here and selling us real estate stuff.
Yo, my man came up like a TikTok, bro.
Yo, what the fuck?
What the fuck was that?
Yo, I thought I got hacked just now.
Am I faded or?
I thought it was game chat for a second.
No, I think I leaked the Discord like invite code on the screen. I mean, honestly, I
type that shit in.
He's the only one that figured it out, so I actually kind of believe him now at this point.